And the most popular bet to win next year's Super Bowl, well, this is no surprise. Tampa Bay, 9% of the betting so far on them. They have plus 650 odds to win it all. Kansas City is second there with San Francisco and Cleveland sitting there right behind it. And so let me come out to the group on this if I can here. And let's just do a little game called Bet Your House. And Rob, I'll start with you. Bucks or the field? Who have you got this year if you had to place that little wager for yourself?
I mean, you know who I'm going with here. Come on now. I'm going with Tom Brady. I'm going with the Bucks, returning all their starters. Just look, they won the Super Bowl last year on a weird year. They're going to have more, confidence going into this year. They're going to have more chemistry. So I'm going with the Bucks.
And they're going to open their season on that Thursday night opener, Marcus, against your Dallas Cowboys. Your thoughts, Bucks or the field?
It's the field, G. And listen, as much as I love what Jason Light did, the general manager for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, bringing these guys back, and I know TB12 is there with all of his guys, and they're trying to put together another run, Patrick Mahomes still plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, yo. And I don't want to forget that you lost your whole offensive line before the Super Bowl, which primarily cost you the opportunity to win that game. So I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs, and Andy Reid until never.
Okay. Kimberly, how about you, Bucks or the field?
So my man Marcus, will not bet against Patrick Mahomes, but he's going to bet against Tom Brady. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. The person you never bet against is Tom Brady. I've made
it don't have to make sense for you, Kim.
I'm not going to do it again. I'm with Rob. I'm with Rob. It's the Bucks.
I love the way she shut that down. Very quickly, we saw Browns and 49ers both up there. Super high picks, and obviously, so who you got? Which team you have for the better season right now? Rob Nikovich, Browns, 49ers.
This is tough. I'm going to go with the Browns on this one. I just think that the 49ers have some question marks. The quarterback position, is it Jimmy G? Is it the rookie? You look at Cleveland and what they were able to do last year. They're going to try and build on that. So I'm going with the Browns.
Marcus?
The Browns, G. Listen, dark horse Super Bowl contenders. I firmly believe that as long as Baker keeps progressing. But this team is built at the line of scrimmage. And as much as we give Kyle Shanahan credit for what he does from an offensive standpoint, I beg people to go look at 16 games last year from Kevin Stefanski not 16, 15, because we got mad about him not running the football in one of those. But this team is very good. They're built the right way. And as long as that quarterback continues to ascend, the Cleveland Browns are going to get people.
He hasn't played in the league since the 2015 preseason. He will be reunited, of course, with his old college coach, Urban Meyer, who was chatting with Chris Collinsworth on the podcast, talking about Tebow's impressive workout with Jaguars coaches.
They come in and they said, wow, this guy's ball skills, he's a great athlete. He looks like he's 18 years old, not 20, whatever he is, 33. And I said, guys, you don't understand now. This guy is, he's the most competitive maniac you're ever going to talk to. And let's give it a shot. And I have not decided if we're going to do that or not yet. I'm getting close. I got to make a decision here pretty soon.
So to be clear, what he means by that is they haven't officially signed him yet, but the overwhelming expectation is that they will. And Marcus, I have been waiting from the moment I saw this to get your take on it. And just for context, Marcus has sat next to Tim Tebow on the SEC Network and the pregame show, right, for 6-7 years now. So you know him about as well as anybody here knows him. What is your perspective on all this?
Listen, man. Listen. All right, it's two parts. It's two parts to this, y'all. Like it's two parts. One is we all like a plug. We all want to have a plug. We all want to have a connect. G, you was my connect to the great restaurant in New York the first couple times I came out. You called, I got in quick. I didn't have to wait for a table. We all want a damn plug. Urban Meyer is Tim Tebow's plug to getting into the NFL. I ain't mad at him for that. Like, everybody is looking for that opportunity. We see it all the time in the NFL and any other league and corporate America, everywhere. Everybody wants to connect. All right, let's get to the football part. Man, ain't no way in hell. And listen, this is one of the situations, this is one of those things where you think about just the context of the NFL and how hard it is to play on that level. But to play on that level after being away this amount of time and never playing the position, and also you think about the other dynamic, which is the locker room. The locker room. I would tell Urban Meyer, be careful to alienate the face of your franchise, the guy that you just drafted #1 overall by bringing in Tim. Listen, this is not an indictment on Tim, but he's going to take away. He's going to be the face of that franchise if he makes the team. We all know that. And Trevor Lawrence is going to be sitting there as the #1 overall pick at the most important position in the league saying, how do I navigate this being a rookie? That would be one concern. The next concern would be that tight ends room. All of those guys that have been putting in work and trying to figure out how to make a team, and not only make a team, contribute. And if you bring Tim in, they all know it's because Urban Meyer is the head coach. And if you keep him on the 53-man roster, you could imagine the type of conversations that would go on in the locker room. I want to bring people in. Like, this is not about guys being mad at Tim Tebow for having an opportunity. This is about those players on that team feeling like somebody was given something because the head coach and Tim has a great relationship. That is the part I would be concerned about if I'm in Jacksonville and in that locker room and have to manage the climate and the temperature of that team. But everybody want to plug, G. I'm still looking for a few. If any Jordan plugs out there, holler at me.
You need a sneaker plug, you need a food plug, all those plugs. I get it. I get it.
So much interesting stuff here. And Nico, I wanted to come to you because you were making the point in our meeting this morning about just if he is out there on the field playing tight end, the way defensive players like yourself might react to that.
Listen. If it's 4th and 1 and I see Tim Tebow come in as a tight end to block me, hey, I'm eating that thing up. I'm just getting into him. I'm going. Listen, at the end of the day, a quarterback does not want to line up at tight end. And you talk about a DB or a linebacker covering him in a route. Imagine if you're a D end. Marcus, you walk up, you see Tim Tebow coming down on you. You're like, that's not gonna scare me. I'm not nervous. I'm not worried about that.
That's a win.
And listen, you better believe that, you're going against a tight end on a Wednesday in practice, and he's like the 3rd string guy. Yeah, he might get you a little bit, and you're like, yeah. If it's Tim Tebow, you better make sure that quarterback never gets you. He never gets you. So every single player that goes against Tim Tebow is gonna make sure that Tim Tebow does not block them, because you are going to be judged on that. Listen, guys watch tape, they watch practice, they watch one-on-ones, and if you get blocked by Tim Tebow, it's going to be an issue. So you better believe people are going to strap up and get ready to get after Tim Tebow if he's a tight end.
That video you just saw, by the way, was Nico sacking Tim Tebow for a 30-yard loss. Kimberly, you've lived this back in 2012.
I was there, yeah. Greeny, I can't believe that I'm back talking about Tebow. Like, that's how I started my career, like on the Jets beat after he's traded, and now here we are. But anybody who thinks that Urban Meyer is not in complete control of all of this he's running this show. He would not have taken this job if he didn't have full autonomy. One leak source even said, this isn't as egregious as him hiring Chris Doyle, but it's still pretty bad because it doesn't make sense. Now, here's where it makes sense because of the bond, obviously, Heisman Trophy winner, Florida, national championship. It doesn't cost you anything if you sign him and you got to cut him. Okay, we didn't lose anything. I've heard everything from he will not make the roster, no way in hell, to the best he's going to do is a practice squad guy, to, hey, don't be surprised if he retires by training camp. This is all about trying to sell seats. That's what a lot of people think. And in Jacksonville, you need to drum up interest somehow.
Marcus, I got 30 seconds left. They're yours. What do you want to finish with?
Gee, listen, man. The serious part of this, man, and you think about all of the things that people have talked about. The serious part of this is the bottom line. When you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you're in the business of winning games and putting the best players out there that you could possibly play with. And it ain't no way in hell Urban Meyer think that Tim is going to play tight end and and put his team in a position to win games. Like we laugh and we joke and we think about this, and Urban Meyer is doing what a bunch of coaches do. You don't burn bridges, you create these connections. But Tim ain't playing tight end for the
Davis limping. We got LeBron James, taking another day working his way back. What is the priority for the Lakers right now as far as getting out of the play-in tournament relative to resting those guys?
Well, I think for me, it's try to get into the six, because when you start to roll the dice and you think, well, hey, look, we've got the most talent, we've got 2 stars, we're going to be